Have you ever wondered what would happen if the old generation villains from My Hero Academia fought the new generation of villains? Can the old evil that once ruled the world rise again to destroy those who plunged Japan into chaos? Well, that's what we're gonna find out. But before we start, here are the rules. We'll have 10 villains from each generation duke it out in a 5-stage system on each side. The first stage will have them start off on even footing with 2 characters on each side. The one that loses advances to the next stage, where we add 2 more characters to their generation. And if they die, they just respawn in the next stage. We will also have the 2 teams appear from a distance away from each other to give them strategy opportunities and have the area contain any type of material that they need for their quirks, with some exceptions. But yeah, we'll keep this up and you're gonna see which one comes out on top. And you're gonna be surprised that it isn't who you think it is. But with a series like My Hero, there are a lot of villains to go through, and unlike with the top 10 heroes, there's no clear cut and dry division between them. So we're gonna divide them based on certain ideals, timeline, and just straight up vibes. The older generation will consist of popular villains from before the era of peace and any major villain before Shigaraki's true awakening. The new gen will be all of the OG League of Villains who stuck by Shigaraki and any villains that popped up around that time. So there might be some choices you feel might not belong in that specific category. If that's the case, let me know in the comments below who you feel like should be on the list. And with all of that out of the way, let's begin the fight. We'll start with the number 10s and 9s of each villain gen and have them duke it out for the first stage. In this case, we'll have Kendo Rappa and Moonfish versus Kurogiri and Mr. Compress. Now, Kendo Rappa is a part of the Yakuza, which is a pretty old school type of villain, and Moonfish, while introduced as a member of the League of Villains, is actually a pretty old serial killer and wasn't all that involved in Shigaraki's side. Now, Kurogiri and Compress are there for obvious reasons, but how will the fight go? Well, first, Kendo and Moonfish aren't the team-working type, with them being crazy and all, so they kind of go off on their own. Meanwhile, Kurogiri and Compress have worked together before, so they coordinate well. The new gen then hatch a plan to sneak up on their opponent and use Mr. Compress's quirk to miniaturize and contain them. It works well for Kendo Rappa since the guy's pretty oblivious to things that aren't directly in front of him, and a small portal from behind took him right out. And Moonfish was the greater threat, as his weird quirk gives him a lot of maneuverability and defense. So when Mr. Compress tries it on him, he quickly loses his hand from the slicing metal teeth. This is when Kurogiri pops up multiple portals to surround and cover all of his teeth, while Mr. Compress goes the old-fashioned way of just killing the guy, since he has now no real hands to do it. So, ultimately, the first stage starts off with a win for the new gen villains. Now, things are starting off strong for the new gen, but can they handle the old gen's second stage, where we bring in 2 new villains? This time, at numbers 8 and 7, are Muscular and Wolfram. Muscular is a notorious villain from before Shigaraki, though he joined up with them for a bit, and Wolfram is actually a subordinate of All for One from the My Hero movie 2 Heroes, so he fits the old gen bill. He also won't have the quirk enhancer gear because that was last minute and pretty OP. Now, Wolfram actually has some experience in leading a team, but it won't be any good here since all of the members of his team are total loners and psychopaths, so they continue to just randomly destroy everything in their way. Now, Mr. Compress and Kurogiri do take the opportunity to spy from above and notice that they're clearly outmatched, so they try to come up with some sort of strategy to beat them. First, they try to separate them by putting them in portals to different locations. This creates some chaos for them, but Wolfram adapts quickly, and he uses his metal manipulation quirk to restrain Kurogiri, who had to show himself for a bit to portal them. Then Wolfram calls out to the other, and Muscle shows up first with his enhanced body and proceeds to try to crush Kurogiri. But Mr. Compress appears suddenly and transforms himself into a stone, though his hand was crushed by the punch. Then it's not long before the others appear, and before Kurogiri can teleport them all out, Moonfish slices the teleporter and finishes the job, while Rappa pummels Mr. Compress. And it's an easy victory for the old gen. So how can the new gen bounce back? Well, no, both teams have a win each, and we have moved to the second stage once again, and the new gen has some backup. Numbers 8 and 7 will be Spinner and Ray Destro, 2 loyal followers of Shigaraki, and the obvious choice as the last generation of evil. Now, the fight starts with the new gen having some heavy hitters on their side, and since they can work together, they'll fight like they're an actual team. They keep an eye on the old gen, who just rampaged like last time, after which Kurogiri transports Mr. Compress to sneak attack Wolfram and keep him out of the match first, considering he's probably the smartest out of all of them. And it does work, but not before Wolfram warns his teammates, causing them to rush to his location. But it's too late by then, as Mr. Compress is gone and they're ambushed by the other new gens. Spinner is in his wild giant lizard form and goes to handle Kendo Rappa, while Ray Destro takes care of Muscle with ease. Moonfish was going crazy, hitting both teams like a maniac, but Kurogiri shut him down fast. He warped Moonfish's attack right onto himself before the guy even noticed. And Rappa was beaten after that, but Spinner took one hell of a beating. Ultimately, a very easy win for the new generation of villains. And is the new gen just too strong for the old gen? Well, if you, fellow viewer, don't want Moonfish to come bite you in the butt, make sure to subscribe! Now we're on the third stage of the old gen, and if they lose this one, they only have 2 more to go. But will they? Considering they have some real heavy hitters in the mix now, with number 6 being number 6 from the Vigilantes spinoff, and number 5 being Overhaul, now there's an immediate shift in the dynamics of the old gen, as Overhaul has a way of getting people under control. And so their team is finally coordinated. Number 6, using his overclock quirk, scouts ahead and gets all the info about the new gen without them realizing, after which they formulate a plan where Overhaul separates all of them by disassembling and reassembling the area around them to create barriers keeping them away. Number 6 goes to take out Kurogiri first so they can't regroup. After that, Muscular and Rappa go against Ray Destro, while Wolfman provides support with his metal manipulation quirk. Moonfish just does his thing and slices the nearest opponent to pieces, which in this case is sadly compressed. Rest in peace. And that leaves Spinner by himself, but Ray Destro is holding on well against his 2 opponents. This is when Spinner tries to join the fight, but his new enhanced form from All for One's modifications leaves him kind of oblivious, so he doesn't notice all of the body parts on the ground, which explode thanks to number 6's bomb quirk. After that, he proceeds to blitz him with Spinner, too slow to react. Ray Destro manages to defeat the 2 goons and gets ready for the next one, only growing stronger from the fight and unleashing stress 100%, destroying Moonfish too. But they soon find themselves back in the game as Overhaul builds them back up with reassembly and they all proceed to beat Ray Destro. And so this is a win for the old gen with not a single member lost. Overhaul is insanely OP, so what can the new gen do? Now that the new gen is looking a bit shaky, maybe their new team members can help them out. We have Togaka Himoko at number 6, and at number 5 is Flecht Turn, the main villain from the My Hero movie World Heroes Mission. Now, Toga is unusually sneaky and works as the perfect scout to locate the enemies, but instead of a divide and conquer tactic, Flecht Turn's arrival changed their strategy, and he became the tank for the group. This was really effective as the enemy team mostly consists of bruisers right now, and Flecht's reflection quirk makes every strike blast back at them, making him basically immune to damage. As that's happening, Toga is sneaking her way to Overhaul disguised as number 6, whom she drinks some blood while sneaking around. As she gets closer, she stabs Overhaul so he can't help his team. But soon after, number 6 goes into full power and uses his quirk to attack every enemy at once. And it works pretty well, but he puts his focus on Flecht Turn because he can regenerate from any reflected damage. As those 2 occupy each other, the others go on an all-out brawl, with Kurogiri providing support by teleporting enemies here and there. Flecht Turn thinks his quirk can't be removed, but he doesn't know it actually has a limit, and number 6 is about to hit it. Once his quirk burns out, Flecht Turn gets finished off, but Ray Destro and Mr. Compress wiped out the rest of the old gen. The problem is, number 6 still has insane stamina, even after his fight with Flecht Turn left him exhausted. With Overhaul gone, he's the last one standing in the old gen. Using his brains, he sets up bombs in key spots though, and sneaks around to catch everyone off guard. And he gets close, but Toga sneaks up on him while disguised as one of the downed villains, securing the win for the new gen.
Round 4. Fight!
The old generation villains are having a tough time, with them already at their second last stage, so what do they need? Some serious firepower, and that is what they are gonna get, people, but with number 4 being the first Namu we see in My Hero Academia, and 9 from the My Hero movie Heroes Rising, who is ironically number 3. And at this point, strategy just goes out the window, when you have so many people on the stage, and a lot of them are pretty big personalities, so cooperation is pretty much non-existent. But just as the fight starts, 9 makes a pretty big display by using his weather manipulation quirk to blast lightning in a wide area towards the new gen. Luckily, Kurogiri manages to transport them somewhere safe. After this, Toga transforms into Kurogiri and the 2 of them begin teleporting teammates around to catch the old gen off guard. It works good for a while, taking the weaker ones out quickly because mostly they are no longer caring to help each other out. But then we have the Namu, who just charges in and goes toe-to-toe with Ray Destro, but it isn't long until he's beaten. What happened? Well, Compress managed to take the Namu out of the equation with his quirk, but right when the new gen are about to win, 9 jumps in. He scans everyone, unleashes his mix of quirks, and takes them out fast, while Overhaul and number 6 clean up what is left. And so, the old generation wins. And at this point, it's a mystery as to how they could lose with so many powerhouses in the way. Things aren't looking good for the new gen, so what can they do? Well, they need some real power if they want to make a difference, and they're in luck as we have Twice and Dobby at number 3 and 4. And well, with how the villains are turning up, you'd think it would be another all-out brawl, but the new gen villains all know each other for the most part, and in turn have some decent teamwork. Kurogiri makes several portals around the area while Toga transforms into Twice, and the two of them use Sadman's parade to create a massive army of clones to swarm and overwhelm their opponent. Overhaul would try to disintegrate the Twice clones, and it would work for a while, but he would immediately exhaust himself and be consumed by the army of Twices. And the other teammates, they can't escape because Dobby is there, creating a massive firewall to box them in. After that, Kurogiri teleports his teammates strategically to where they most are needed until the old gen are eventually beaten. And with no damage to the new gen team, it was a complete stomp. And does the old gen even have a chance at this point? Now we're at the final stage for the old gen. It's their last shot at victory, and they may just clutch it with these heavy hitters. Who are they? Number 2 is Gigantomachia, and at number 1 is the Demon King himself, All for One. In this scenario, we're gonna go for the All for One that fought All Might during the Hideout raid arc. This time, old gen is organized thanks to All for One, and the new gen strategy is similar to last time, but they're more careful as nearly everyone there knows exactly what All for One is capable of. The Sadman's parade begins again, and you guys may think I'm over-exaggerating how OP this is, but I think I'm underselling it. Besides Shigaraki, Twice was the other priority target simply because of how unstoppable the clones are. He can literally cover an entire city with his clones, so to have the real Twice and Toga Twice is just insane. And All for One can't absorb the quirk because he can't find the real one amongst all of the masses of clones, and the sheer clones and chaos serves as a useful way to sneak the other new gens to do some quick assassination. Flecked Turn is an excellent distraction for All for One as his quirk reflects any attempt by Afo to steal his power. The clones then take care of most of the old gen, and 9 is eliminated by Dobby's sheer firepower, but Dobby burns himself out in the process. But Gigantomachia is the real danger as it's almost impossible to bring him down, and that's when Compress appears to use his quirk to remove a portion of Gigantomachia's brain by compressing it, effectively killing the guy. After that, it took the rest of the team to help finish the job, while Overhaul was handled like last time. All for One would have Flecked Turn at his knees at that point, but Kurogiri teleports Flecked Turn away before his quirk is stolen. After that, it's a battle of attrition that eventually ends with All for One exhausted and then dead, as Twice and Toga Twice just keep throwing out clones. It was a consecutive victory for the new generation, as they have completely defeated the old villain generation without the involvement of their final stage. Just like how the new generation of heroes have become something special, the new generation of villains were made for the purpose of surpassing the old ones, so it makes sense that they would win. They were designed to. But who do you think would win? Let us know in the comments down below, my friends, and as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out this video where I find out what would happen if the old generation MHA heroes fought new generation MHA heroes. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye!